Speaker of the House, Fox News contributor Newt Gingrich is with us. So let me understand this. So California is a sanctuary state. L.A. is a sanctuary city. If you're a drug addict, you get your free needles. If you are in the state illegally, you get free housing, health care, education, all taxpayer funded. If you're homeless, you pretty much get everything for free, too. Maybe not the hotels that they're giving out in New York. But they can't give the highest taxed people in the country the water they need to put out a fire or practice basic science, the basic science of forestry. You can get degrees from top universities in forestry.
Look, I think we need a totally new model. I think the federal government should basically impound all the money that was going to give California and all the money that it was going to give Los Angeles, translate that into help for the people, not the governments, but take all that money so that, in fact, we're taking all the money California wanted from the rest of the country and all the money Los Angeles wanted from the rest of the country, converting it into help for the people who have been hurt precisely because the politicians in California range between radically stupid and corrupt and are controlled by the unions and the bureaucrats. I think this is a pretty straightforward situation. We'll never see a clearer example of the total incompetence and destructiveness of left-wing government than we are seeing in the fires in Los Angeles tonight.
If you're going to aid and abet law breaking, and that means helping people that don't respect our laws or borders or sovereignty, if you're going to harbor those criminals, if you're going to give them free housing, health care, and education, how about that would mean you're basically aiding and abetting in the law breaking, so therefore you don't deserve one federal dollar. How about we insist that you cannot codify into law breaking by adopting a sanctuary status?
Look, I think that President Trump's in a position, given the absurdity of what Biden did today in promising 100% federal offset for the cost of the fires. I think the answer ought to be we're going to claw back from the state of California and from the city of Los Angeles all of the money that Biden wants to throw away. We're going to help the people. I want to draw a distinction. I am absolutely for helping the people who have lost their homes. I think all Americans have to come together at times like this and help their fellow Americans. But I am totally opposed to the windfall profits going to the destructive government of California and the destructive government of Los Angeles. And I think your point's right. If we simply cut off all funding to illegal immigrants, and if we simply, frankly, went back to the 1996 welfare reform bill and insisted that if you get money from the federal government, you have to go to work.
Yeah.
You can't just sit around and be idle and do nothing. I think you could pay for this, but we should not give California itself a penny. The government of California is corrupt, disreputable, and follows policies that verge on insane, and the rest of the country shouldn't be required to subsidize their insanity.
We're a week and a half. Donald Trump will be president, and he has a bold agenda, transformative agenda. You talked about, he went to about one big, beautiful bill. He went to the U.S. Senate last night. They're talking about two big, beautiful bills. I think you can make a compelling case on each side of that argument. Where do you think it should be one, and what do you say to the people that believe it should be two?
Oh, I think we're crazy if we go for two bills. We need one large, decisive bill. We need 2.5 months of President Trump and Vice President Vance barnstorming the country. We know exactly the Democrats, and there are about 34 of them, who are very vulnerable, and there ought to be a rally in each of their districts. We ought to combine tax cuts, affordability, better take-home pay, bigger job creation, lower energy costs with fixing the border, all of them in one bill. And frankly, my good friends in the Senate don't understand that if you're in the House and you're faced with a very close election next year, you need dramatic economic growth. That means, as Speaker Mike Johnson has said, You need a bill by Memorial Day at the very latest. You need a bill by July 4th. The two-bill model, I think, is an invitation to a disaster. We saw that. I was in Congress. Ronald Reagan failed to get his tax cuts to start in '82. We lost 26 seats. President Trump failed to convince the leadership to pass the tax cuts first, and in 2017, they didn't pass till October. We lost 40 seats. One bill quickly, no later than May or June.
Newt Gingrich, thank you. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.